But the problem is, Laurie, that we've had, as I pointed out, since 1968, we've had a culture based on the noble lie. And it simply has become ingrained in all our institutions, the assumption that you have to lie, that the people cannot be trusted. And this is the absolute inverse of everything that democracy is supposed to be about. And again, I'm afraid it really is at this point necessary to look at how Labour came to power. The so-called Ming-Va strategy was based on not simply the lie in the sense of not saying what you will do. Sorry, let's get this right. It wasn't based simply on being silent about what you would do. It was based on actual direct lies. It was based on saying we will not increase taxes. And look at what they've done. Now, this seems to me to be so fundamentally shocking, to be so fundamentally undermining our basic institutions. Again, Starmer talked in that bizarre rambling speech that he gave at 8:30 yesterday morning. He talked about the rot of our institutions. The central rot of our institutions is public lies. The central rot of our institutions is treating democracy as merely something to be manipulated. It's the Alistair Campbellisation of our politics. It goes right back to that. It goes back to the notion that you don't govern actually by doing things, you govern by manipulating public opinion. And it is the great lie of Iraq's missing chemical weapons and so on has been repeated and repeated and repeated. And it has now become the bedrock of public policy. This is utterly corrupting. It's utterly unsustainable. It has to go.
And of course, one of the responses that they've now pledged is an inquiry. And
well, we've discovered that inquiries are quite useful, haven't we?
It's strange, isn't it?
Having decided there were absolutely no use about rape gangs, we've now decided inquiries are absolutely wonderful. We want as long an inquiry as possible that will kick everything into as far grass as possible.
But it is at least an admission that they sort of tried to get off on the front foot of that. No one was expecting them to call this so early, but it's an admission that they clearly know that many things have gone deeply wrong and they want to try and say that they're doing something about it. But as you say, it's a way of kicking it into the long grass.
It is a way of kicking it into the long grass. And also, is it again going to be Louise Casey? I mean, you have now a performing seal. She looks rather like a performing seal. You have this performing seal of a woman who can be relied on to produce something that sounds really, absolutely, sweeping, clean brush and will lead to absolutely nothing at all.
Okay, so in some ways that was a long digression from the very, very first question, but let's go back to the grooming gangs for a second then. And obviously it links, and Starmer himself has in a way linked it to the Southport stuff because he's called them both far right in his reflexive way, as we've been talking about. But, so the perspective on that as a historical atrocity, if you like, but also how will that go down in the public consciousness now that it's properly broken through, and I don't think it's going to be going away anytime soon, right?
I don't think there's been anything quite like it. Can you think of a parallel?
No.
I can't. I mean, again, it's because we got rid of communalism relatively early in England. I mean, you could imagine it perhaps in Northern Ireland, but with, again, a profoundly divided society. But I don't think there were direct parallels at all. I mean, this is something that you would actually expect much more in Africa.